So really, the first thing we'll learn, it's a very short piece in the halacha, and there's a lot to talk about. The first thing is, it says, the first thing you should put on in the morning is tzitzis. Put on your tzitzis. Don't go 4 amos. Again, that's either 6 feet or 8 feet, depending on the opinion. Don't go far without tzitzis. That's basically what he says here. So because the person hasn't washed his hands yet, he should make the bracha yet. Right? Mishnah Berurah holds you should make the bracha only on the talis. It's better. Whatever his reasons are. We don't have to go into that right now. The second. Are they relevant? Aren't they relevant? It depends. So, there are 6 mitzvos, 6 or 7 mitzvos that are equal to the entire Torah. I bet all of you guessed that tzitzis is one of them, right? Must be. Otherwise, what does it have to do with anything? That's really remote, right? Okay, so we have like this. They are, a person is supposed to reject idolatry, which means a lot of different things as well. Person's stucca, that's another one. Tzitzis. Mila, bris Mila. Torah. Shabbos. And Eretz Yisrael. Right? And some say tshuva. Right? So we have like this again. We have avodah zarah. It's a person understanding, like, just getting his bearings. What's the primal source? What is acceptable? What isn't acceptable? We have to be aware. Hashem wants a relationship with us personally, not disconnecting from Him. We're supposed to be connected from Him, connected to Him. That's the first thing. Then the next one is stucca. Right? A person has to learn how to develop himself as a human being. A human being is someone who gives. That's what I was saying before that the Alter Count brings from Aristotle. If you don't give, and this is obvious to any person, if you don't give, then that's something clearly missing in your makeup as a human being. That's why, there's a secular Jew. What's his name? I think Dean. He had a struggle at his own. He said, I'm struggling. I don't know. I'm not sure. Someone sent me this article. I said, I'm not sure. I said, as a secular Jew, he said, he doesn't observe anything. He went away from everything. Raised in a Hasidic household and dropped everything. He said, as a secular Jew, here I am before Hanukkah. Now, whose side would I be on? So he said, I was sure I was on the Jewish side until this, also, I guess, secular girl was like, no, you'd be on the Greek side because you're into logic, you're into this, everything we have is from the Greeks. Of course, you'd want to be a Greek. You wouldn't join the Jews. He said that was a very big dilemma for him. And he was speaking with someone who's a mentor of his. This person put, there's things that you can't really get from just logic. It's not only logic. It's a matter of, again, giving, helping, just to be kind. That's not a Greek invention. That's not something that would have fit so well in the Greek format. It's only for yourself. You give for you. You don't give for someone else. If you give, it's because that's your karma to give and your whatever it is. But there's the giving and the kindness. That's not what you found in the Greek point of view, the Greek way of seeing things. That was what this person said. So there's some deeper stuff. But to me, I think that we probably would find, again, I'm not an historian. I didn't sit and study Greek literature and culture. Perhaps it's a mistake. But as far as my understanding of things is, and I spoke with someone who did study, he's like, yeah, that's right. So I probably got it right. None of us would like to be around a Greek, because he's always thinking about himself. You don't want to hang out with someone like that. You just don't want to be near someone like that. He's his own group, his own this, and that's what it's about. And he's only channeling something down. It's like, where's the human being there? So humanness, so then this person, to me, it's like, if you want to be a mensch, you want to be a person, Western values, as it were, that's not from Greeks. That's from Torah. That's from us. That's what we give. That's being a person, being able to be content with someone is not only his own self, it's only about me and about what I'm supposed to do and about what I can get and what I can't get. It's not me. It's about revealing Hashem. So anyway, we have to learn how to be giving. That's stucca. Then the next one is tzitzis. Tzitzis is remembering. To remember, with to stay connected. That's what tzitzis is. Tzitzis is remaining connected to the source. Then we have bris Mila. Bris Mila is sanctifying the body. Then we have Torah. Torah is the sanctification of our das, of our thoughts, of where we are. Then Shabbos sanctifies the time. And then Eretz Yisrael sanctifies the place, right? And Shuv is the restart button. That's Kunisa. That's Kun Malach. You restart wherever you fell. You start again. This idea, this power. This is from this presentation. It's in this beautiful book by Rav Micha, which I really love. Again, I haven't picked it up in a while. It's called the Mitzvah Shkulos. He goes through. He made a very big, whole beautiful Torah about these mitzvahs. And at a certain point, he started to say Shema. He would get to, and you shouldn't go after your eyes and your heart, and tzitzis and different things in Shema. He would stop. He would pause for 2 minutes. Now everyone wanted to wait for him, but they were like, "Wow, he's got like a 2-minute heavy pause that suddenly just showed up," and he seems very focused. They asked him, "What are you thinking about in those 2 minutes? What are you doing?" You seem very vital and focused. So he was already, I don't know, he must have been in his 80s. I think he was in his 80s even. And he's like, "Well, the truth is, I worked out a whole Torah and connection way that I plan on giving over when the time comes to go to the next world. So I'm just thinking about it and internalizing it. That's what I'm doing." So like, "Can you share this Torah?" He's like, "This is not really for when I'm alive. This was the idea was for after I leave. I didn't expect anyone to bug me. I figured, whatever I have to come on, you want to wait for me. I try to motion not to wait. It doesn't seem to work. So they wait." So they start, "No, we want to see it." So he basically put it out in 2 little volumes. It's a little book. And wondrous, beautiful things. So we have to know the first thing is that tzitzis corresponds to every one of the mitzvahs, because if you don't remember, you can't do. If you remember, you're able to do. But if you don't remember, how are you going to do? If you don't have a clear memory, you don't have a connection, how can you act? It's impossible. So that's the first thing to be aware of. So we don't want to go even 4 hours, even a little bit, without tzitzis. Now, the Medrash tells us the Sifris is a wonderful mashal. It says that there was once a captain who saw someone drowning. The man's drowning. So he threw him a line. He said, "Hold on," because if you let go of this line, your history, you're in the depth of the ocean. It's over. So we see, Rav Micha points out in this Medrash, he says, you'll see it and you'll remember this idea of the memory. It's like it's saving your life. That ship captain just gave you the line. You're hold on, sink or swim. That's what tzitzis is. That's the power of tzitzis. He said, because there is a struggle every day between 2 parts of every person. He said we all have a body. Our body has a certain agenda and a certain interests. And we also have a neshama. We have a soul, we have a spirit, we have things that it's not going to help us. Physical, material stuff doesn't do us any good. That's again this idea of it's all very nice to be an ancient Greek, a Grecian person who's got the type of mores, but you're not going to live a very happy life, because happiness has to do with giving. If you can't give, if you can't be connected to other people in a way that has nothing to do with you, it's not about me, it's about something bigger than me, then you're not going to be a happy person. It's just the way it is. That's the way it is. I have to think of somebody else. That's like, it's very, some people say, even, our sages say, if you want to be answered in a prayer, right, it's better to pray for your friend. So some people say that means you have to think more about him than you. Others maybe not like that. It's not so clear, but it's important to internalize this idea of, I have to care about someone else. What am I giving to the world? Like, that's the Alter Kelm. What am I giving? Am I doing anything? Hey, that's what he brings the Gemara Kedushin, right? It says, I only teach my son Torah. You're older, you're ready. Still, you don't have to stop working. You can still work. So it's like, what does it have to do? What do you like? What does it mean? He's like, what is the meaning of that statement? It seems very, very hard to understand. He said, when you realize that a person who's really focused on learning the way he should be is supposed to be giving to others, then it's easier to understand. He said, because you can keep giving to others and keep giving to others on a deeper, special level. You can help other people become more developed and become better if that's your focus, if that's your job. So then, of course, we understand. You're giving back more than you take. But if you're not focused there, or if you're not in a place where you're able to really give it all, so then there's something lacking. So you give spiritually, maybe. There are different ways of looking at maybe he is, maybe he isn't. It's also, again, comes back to I'm not focused on myself. I'm focused on Hashem, on being good, on connecting. And such a person, really, it's, of course, the first thing is I'm happy because I'm no longer trapped in my bodily self. So the Alter Kelm, we say he brings this beautiful idea. He says we say b'chol yom avacheka like every day I will bless you and I will praise your name forever. Who's going to praise Hashem's name forever? Who blesses Hashem every day and who's going to praise Hashem forever? So he says every person is really a We're all a combination of body and soul. He said, it's very interesting. As a person lives his life, as we live our life every day, in a certain way, we become weaker. Not really weaker, not necessarily weaker. I had a friend, he started jogging at 50. He's like, well, I run strong more than I ever ran. Like, you can build bone muscle, you can build brain. It's like, Hashem created this body. It's very strong. It's very special. However, the bottom line is that every day is another day towards either Mashiach's going to come and be revealed and we're going to be saved. And saved doesn't mean we're not going to do anything. Saved just means it's going to be easier for us to focus on what the reality is. It's not so simple. What's going to happen Mashiach times? I heard about someone actually taking a course. Yeah, we're doing this will happen, that'll happen. There's a lot of deep esoteric works about it. And from what I heard, 2 minutes of this course, this person did not learn them, which is okay, but, it might not come out the way we think. You learn the Rambam and say, well, that's what's going to happen. Not so simple. And what does that mean? It's not so simple. It's certainly, one thing I guarantee, it is not easy, like no problem. You just read the sources, it's clear. There's nothing clear. It's the most unclear thing we've ever had. Ever. And I always say that, the exile of 70 years, I think they messed it up 3 times. No, the 70 years is over already. No, it's not over. It's from here. It's from then. It's from then. Rosh Hashanah. Time after time, they kept messing it up. They kept making mistakes. And that's 70 years. This exile, the Medrash calls the endless exile. The exile that looks like it has no end. That's what it looks like. So it's like, it's really not simple. Like we have no idea what's going on. We don't understand. It's not like you think. Studying these ideas, you can study them and they're very beautiful, but without learning a lot of deeper stuff, it's not going to even begin to get any kind of clarity. And even when you learn it, it's still, again, it's just not clear. It's very, very unclear. Like, how's it going to look? What's going to be like? We don't really know. But anyway, there's something called the time of Mashiach. Rabbi Nachman says about the time of Mashiach, he says a few things. He says, first of all, you should know there's going to be flying planes. He doesn't call them planes. He says, you're going to have things, they're going to fly. People are going to fly to places. It's going to be normal. This is number one. That's A. Number two, that was one thing he said. He said, number two is that you'll be able to do things that are wrong, but they'll know about it. And I guess that's what you'll want. You're going to right away, what he said is he can die with Mashiach's minyan and have a bad thought. But they'll beat him up with metal bars. And again, that doesn't mean literally. That doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be a physical police. It means it's right away going to be accessible to him. No, this is not what I want. He's going to see the negative repercussions. It could mean a lot of things, which we don't understand. Rav Micha said, if I saw a plane that flew, I would start to dance. Mashiach's on the way. Well, again, here we are. So we hear this thing, right? So that you figure after Wright brothers, Breslev Chassidim must have been very happy. Mashiach is imminent. But here we are, and it's true. And it's an amazing prediction, but still where, it's not so simple. The timing is really, Rabbi Nachman told somebody, you're going to make Mashiach in this coat. This son of mine is born. We're going to do it. And then he was at the Levaya Nebuch. The child died very young. And he said, I don't know, I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see any remote way Mashiach will come for 100 years. She's like, Rebbe, you said the coat. I'm going to wear this coat. I don't think it's going to last 100 years. And I don't know if I'm 100 years for the world. That's a lot of, he wasn't a young man. He's like, that's what I said then. That's what I'm saying now. What can I say? Things change. Like that's just, it's very, again, even the greatest tzaddikim, it's very not simple to say, oh yeah, Mashiach, this is what it is. It's not so. Rav Tzaddik says that every generation has a Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, and they're all bringing things closer. There is a Mashiach. There is something going on. If someone says Mashiach, he might be right. This aspect, that aspect. But that doesn't mean, he said, even from Bakoch was also a Bechina of Mashiach. But, it's been a couple thousand years. It's been a while. It's been it takes time. And Kitzur. So he says, every day I will bless you, and I will praise your name forever means the body and the soul. And every day the soul gets stronger, and the body is on its way to leaving, unless we have something really special happening, which you never know. No idea, no way of knowing. No way of knowing. Ray Kaplan said people are going to live longer. It seemed like from what he said, people will start to live longer, just like in the beginning, people had a longer lifespan. It's not clear what's going on. We have no idea. We don't understand. That's the only thing we know is we don't understand. But the body and the soul, it's kind of, there's a special dichotomy that's called the body and the soul. We all live in this thing that's being pulled in 2 different directions. Now, one direction is not going to help me, right? So let's say my body says, here, have that piece of cake. So, I should have a substantial meal. Nah, I'm not going to have it. No, have one. He has a few pieces. Then he's like, But now I have this substantial meal. What about the meal? I'm not full because it's not really. Then he has a substantial meal or two. It doesn't really help me. You wake up in the morning, you want another. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to do anything. It doesn't go away. It doesn't help. The Vilna Gaon says it's like drinking salt water. You're trying to indulge your, even your natural hunger, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. He said if you're like fooling yourself, deluding yourself, he said drinking salt water does not slake your thirst. It just makes you much more thirsty. I said that's the same thing. When a person indulges in stuff, he just gets harder and harder. And he gets less and less vitality is drained. So the tzitzis help us hold on to this fact that really what's really going on, what's really happening is I'm anchoring myself to the real world, to the next world. Tzaddikim, they knew about this, so they were on the Vilna Gaon that famously cried his last day. The student said, why are you crying? He said, look at this, tzitzis, a few pennies, and you're connected. It's such an easy mitzvah. He said, and now I'm leaving the world. That's it, done. That's Vilna Gaon. It's not so simple. It's not so simple. We don't really, there's stuff going on in the Zohars. All we know is, again, we really don't know. That's all we really know. All we can understand, we don't understand. It's just very simple, very pashut. The Vilna Gaon himself actually insisted to visit him. She hadn't seen him for 20 years, more even. And he was like, they spoke for a few minutes, like, I don't have time to speak now. He said, but don't worry, in the next world, we'll have time together. It won't be the time to make up. That'll be time to, enjoy. Then we can, whatever this means, don't ask me. I have no idea. I don't know. That's what the Vilna Gaon, that's what the Vilna Gaon, he was a very, very connected, tremendously connected person. And he understood what it meant every second, every instant, every mitzvah. We don't even understand anything. We just have to do our best to be connected. So you have to just, every day I will bless you. The Alter says add. I want to add. Bracha means to add. Every day I'll add a little more. He said, and realize the neshama, the soul, I'm building my soul. Every day I'm getting more soul.
So how do you go out? Rabbi George says that we should go out and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go out and talk to people and they ask questions and say, well, we don't know. We just don't know.
Well, it depends on the question.
Just don't know.
It depends on the question. That's the truth.
They're going to look at us and say...
It depends on the question. It totally depends on the question. Some questions we do know. There are a lot of things we do know. There are other... I once had a discussion with somebody who was... I don't know. Is there such a thing as an atheist? Maybe he was an atheist. I don't know exactly. Probably more likely agnostic. And he was like, here. He started asking all sorts of paradoxes and questions. How could this be? How could that be? So I told him, basically, we don't know. But nobody knows. And it's not going to help you one way or the other way. It doesn't change things around. I don't understand where something finite like this world, what we see is only finite, how it could have come from nowhere. Or how it could have come from Hashem. I don't understand. I mean, that doesn't change anything. It's just a fact of that's part of being a human being. There are a lot of things we don't understand. If we really understood, what meaning would it have? So that's what Emunah is about. Emunah is about, I don't understand, I just connect to Emunah. So there's a tremendous vitality in that. And we can share that, we can give that. And there's an incredible hope. Nachman gives us an incredible hope. It's so hopeful. We just don't understand how much. Again, this class, going back to the class, like this one there, here, check this. This one's out, and this one's out, and this one's out. And Nachman's like, no, none of those guys are out. None of those guys, they're all in. There are different levels of what it means out and in. But like, no, they're all in. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, totally, very clearly. And this person's like, nah, this and this. And it's like, okay, you never learned. Yeah. There's stuff you just didn't learn. You don't know. You don't understand how to apply. And, they're not so easy to explain. So you try to explain this way, try to explain that way. And maybe there are ways of explaining. But the bottom line is, it sometimes takes a long time to understand. Even questions that are in Torah, what we learn, when you figure out later, when you see the answer, it's all clear. But until then, you don't understand. Part of that is about realizing that sometimes you just don't understand, especially global big things. We don't get them. There was a person lost his wife, lost his child. I forgot who it was. The Diskin maybe in Yerushalayim, then many people lost a lot of kids. So his wife's very upset. He said, the reason why you're staying upset, and again, he knew her, he knew this would help her, I guess, or he made a mistake, because I don't know, I can't, even, Rabbi Nachman says, even the big tzaddik can make a mistake. I want a lesson more than whether one should use this reaction to try to encourage somebody who's mourning. I don't, even if it's a long time. I'm not saying this is what one should do. I'm just saying that bottom line is that this is what happened, and there's an important point to learn here, one way or the other way. And he said, the reason why it's so hard for you is because you don't learn Gemara, and it's not what you need to do. He said, because when we learn Gemara, we know that there are a lot of questions we don't have the answer to. And we're always learning all the time. It's like, yeah, okay, we don't understand. Don't get it. Okay, weiter, next. And that's a good lesson. That's a big lesson. And I guess he was telling me that's a lesson you really have to understand, that sometimes we don't know the answer, and that's okay. We don't get it. We don't get it. Again, Rav Nachman, someone once begged him, my child, help him. You have to help him no matter what. Yeah, man, what a tragedy. He said, to help this person, this is going to cost at least 13 lives or maybe more. He said, is that fair? Can I do that? He said, I can't do that. So you have to block. So there were times when Rav Nachman was blocked, and the simple lady sat up all night and prayed, and the kid, not only was it killed, the kid lived 100 years old. And he said, I had no idea the power of prayer. Sometimes you can just break through. You don't realize even that it's blocked. Sometimes you can do it. It's not so simple. Get to a place where suddenly you thought it was inaccessible, it looks that way. It's not so simple. We don't understand. There's a lot of different ways. Does that mean that harmed other people when someone gets better? No, not necessarily. Just this particular person can't do it. He could do it in this way. There are many pathways. It's really not a simple thing to figure out and to understand. There are things we don't understand. That's really what it comes down. Like any person, whoever you are in life, we don't understand. And like again, I'll give you an example about this particular topic. And that's again the idea of tzitzis. Tzitzis means we're all connected, no matter what. That's the idea. And by the way, tzitzis also means that non-Jews are connected too, because it says that non-Jews are going to grab onto the people who have the tzitzis. That means we're going to help them too. So it's not in the ultimate future. It's not so simple to say, oh, they're all erased. That's not true. That's only the most pious. It's simply not true. And that's the same idea. Rav Nachman said that any good thing a person does forges an eternal connection to Hashem. The Ramchal also seems to say that as well, pretty clearly. So someone asked him, Nassan asked, he said, I don't understand. The Gemara Rosh Hashanah says that there are certain sinners, Jewish or non-Jewish, particularly doing particular sins, they did a particular, whatever exactly it is. You have a person, there are certain sins, let's put it that way. I don't want to go into exactly what and when. You're missing tefillin, with tefillin, but what happened? Where is he there? Where is he exactly? Is it half and half? Is it one tefillin? There's a lot of different, a lot of discussion about what exactly are we talking about there. Anyway, there's a certain person where the Gemara says that this person, because he's lacking X, Y, and Z, is going to be 12 years in purgatory, and then he's going to become ashes under the fear of tzaddikim. That doesn't sound very encouraging. That sounds like he did all the good he did, and it's over. So the Rebbe said, yeah, but he'll be dust. Not nothing, dust he'll be. So Rav Nachman, when he brings this down in Sasam Simcha, he's like, this doesn't seem to be so easy to understand. Like, what did he mean by that? So he said, well, maybe, possibly. It means there's going to be something, and the use of that language is just in order to give a person a test, and he's sorry, and he learns that, he feels discouraged, and he has to overcome it, he has to have simple emunah. Good, that's what he writes there. So there's another person, one of the Bali Musar actually, Lev Leo, who brings the same question. Same question exactly. He says, how is it going to be? So he asks from a different angle. He says, how could you have any kind of Gehenna? How do you have this aspect of purgatory or Gehenna or whatever you want to say if there's no rectification? We don't believe in Gehenna as a punishment. There's no such thing as a punishment. A punishment is when you give someone, you say, you did this, now you go to jail. That we don't believe that spiritually it doesn't work that way. On an earthly court, we sometimes have to punish. But spiritually, it's Hashem, no such thing. There's no punishment. The punishment is there's a way of helping the person one way or the other way. You either help them in the next world, or help them in this world, or help them this way, or help them that way. It's not like we think. A person thinks, he says, this is no good, this is good. We have no idea what's good. We have no idea what's not good. Famously, the brother of the Gra, also he was, there's no end of stories about it, but bottom line is, what the story I want to talk about is he was at the end of his life, and he was in terrible pain. And his kids came to visit and they said, wow, I feel so bad for you. He said, no, why do you feel bad? He said, it's purifying everything. And you go, next, weiter. He said, I would dance. If I could, I don't have the strength. If I could, you'd see me dance. Now again, this is a person who he wanted, and that's why he sold his house. Like he was on a very high level. We can't, that's a level. That's not simple. But does that mean you understand? I don't understand. No, my mom just don't understand. But that doesn't, let's put it this way. It's kind of like, that's why there's no end to the what you can learn about Emunah. There's no end. The bottom line is, this is what's going to help me connect and be who I'm supposed to be. And try it and see. That's the bottom line of things. And we can understand somewhat, but we don't really getting the hard questions. Someone who says I understand, usually he's wrong. If he's right, he's unusual, and he still could be wrong. Even if he's on the level, he's on a high level, he might be wrong. He might be right. There are stories of big Kabbalists. Again, Rav Yishai Horowitz, I'm fond of saying, he says, all these guys who got it right, so they don't tell you the 10 or 15 or 20 times they tried to get it right and they messed up. Those don't make it into the lore. The lore is only the stories where it went well. Forget about if they're exaggerated. Even if it's not exaggerated, he said that's the one time, the 5 times that it went well with this guy. He said, wow, what a story. So they're unusual people. He said where they got it a lot more than that. They were very on the ball, like target practice, very close, like really, really amazing. He said, but most people, he said, though that story you read, that's like that one time that it worked out, and they're trying. We're doing our best. Everyone does their best. So Rabbi Nachman says, so the Lelio brings this Sim Gemara, and he says, listen, the truth is that when I have, he says, when I'm in a situation where I'm in this category, a person's in this category, he has his 12 months or whatever it is, he says, he's going to have eternity afterwards. He's going to have an eternal place in the world of souls. He's going to make it. He's going to get there. He's going to make it. But compared to the higher levels starts from the head and goes to the feet. Compared to the higher levels, it's going to be dust under the feet of tzaddikim. He's not going to be on the level to really connect like somebody who's holding. That doesn't mean that he's gone, and it doesn't mean he doesn't have eternal reward. So now let's go back. What did Rabbi Nachman say? He said, but dust you'll be, right? So that's the answer. Did Rabbi Nachman understand the answer till the end? He said a facet, which is true. It sounds kind of discouraging. Yeah, I'm sure it's in his sign. What does it really mean? Only later you figure it out. But until I read the video, I was like, okay, but that's confusing. I don't understand. Like, thank you. We don't really understand. Okay, that doesn't help too much. It's not clear. Yeah, it's not satisfying yet. I hear you, but it's just when you sign. Like, what does it mean? I was like, okay, I don't know what it means. The more you learn Tosfos or deeper stuff, it's one of the reasons why we learn it. Again, the person he sees, it's hard. But even if we're not holding and learning this and learning that, we have to understand. We don't understand. And that's good that we don't understand. If we understood, it would not be good. It wouldn't help. It wouldn't make things better. What makes things better is to try to connect him when I have to be connected. I have to tie myself. That's the beginning of what Tzitzit is about. Don't go 4 cubits. Don't go anywhere without connecting to Hashem on high, remembering. I'm not really here. I'm just journeying through. I don't understand. If I understood, I'd be thrilled. I'd be so happy. Every mitzvah, every good thing, all the good I've done, all the sparks are picking up. Every day is another spark. I don't understand it. I just don't get it, so I don't understand. But the more we learn, we'll see. We'll talk about the parasha. The more we learn deeper things, the easier it is to understand. Because you understand, it's very interesting, but the more you understand about what you don't understand and how much depth there is, the easier it is to really say, well, every person's doing amazing things, and we're all affecting a tremendous amount of the world and tikkunim. So we have to hold on, and we have to say, okay, I'm doing what I can do. I'm doing it as I can do. And thank you, Hashem. And take it simply. Then eventually the questions that we don't know the answer to are answered. But I think that when we talk to other people, we have to share with them the wellsprings of what the Rebbe tells us. When we give over what he says, there's just nothing. A person can feel it. There's something here so powerful and so special and so amazing. I want that. And then he'll get it. That's really what it comes down to. Oh.